Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Zain Najib. I'm the marketing manager at the National Science Technology Park. Today, we have gathered up for the Spotlight Park Launch Startup Spotlight. We have two startups from the NSTP. So before we jump to the pitch session, I would like to give you a brief about NSTP, what it is, and what we're doing at NSTP. So let me just share my screen. Okay, let me know when you can see the screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, is it full screen now? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So NSTP is a project by NUST, a university that's based in Islamabad. We have like 350 labs. So startups and companies have access to our lab systems. We have so they can access our faculty acumen as well. So NSTP right now is the first high-tech economic zone in Pakistan. The status was approved in October 2020 by the then Prime Minister. So we are sector agnostic per se. We have 8 thematic sectors, which includes health tech, smart tech, agri-tech, fintech, energy tech, ed tech, and defense tech. So currently we have 115 high-tech companies from 20 plus countries, 41 anchor tenants, including ABB, Hytera, and Turkish Aerospace as well, and 64 startups and about 15 international companies. So I've covered that. So we have given 28 companies the high-tech status authority zone, and with some of the companies like Rapidev have imported PCB fabrication machines for the chip manufacturing inside NUST University. Snapshot of our ecosystem. So our startups have raised more than 10 billion in less than a year, in less than 3 years. So 10 billion in total revenue, 10 billion PKR in fundraised. So 1.6 billion in R&D and 4,500 high-tech jobs. So these are all startup jobs, high-tech jobs that are based inside most of the startups and companies as well. So 165 R&D projects, 150 startups have been graduated from our ecosystem, and 120 IPs have been filed so far. So some of the recent investments by international VCs at NSTP was PriceWay. So Peter Thiel, most of you know that Peter Thiel backs PriceWay. So this was, I think, this year or so. And the other is by Adam Draper. He invested in Orbit Ed. It's a female-led startup that's working in the AR/VR corporate training vertical. Then we have a few high-tech labs have been established by our companies like Archela Global, the Dollars Group, Turkish Aerospace, and Tufel. So they were working in the R&D segment at NUST. So we have Hatchet program. So it's similar to most of the startup programs. I think you can go through these statistics. And then we recently concluded a program with the US Embassy. This is for minorities and women. We had one transgender from as well, and about 6 regions. We covered 5 regions and a 6 million prize pool. So we just concluded it. I think that was on 22nd of June. And we have worked along with the government of UAE for our Badiri program that was focused for women entrepreneurship. So that was pretty much about NSTP. I think let's start up. Let's start with the startup pages. Let me just stop the screen share from. How do you stop? Okay, stop here. Okay, here it is. So our first startup is Ahmad. This first startup founder is Ahmad. The startup name is VisionRD. Ahmad, can you please share your screen and your pitch deck? Okay, so Ahmad, you would have 15 minutes, and after that we have a Q&A session. The second startup is BILTY by Farhan. So you have 15 minutes, so just start the timer, and so that we know so that we know that we're in the within the stipulated time frame. Let me just start over here. Okay, Ahmad, your point. Ahmad, you can start.
Am I audible?
Yep.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmad, and I'm CEO and founder of VisionRD. And so what is the problem that we are trying to solve? Rivian recalls nearly, one second. Rivian recalls nearly 13,000 SUVs for seatbelts fix. And that is nearly every vehicle that they manufactured. So that means this is basically the cost of quality that is lost due to quality related issues. And this was just a small kind of defect, just a small dimensional out of tolerance of the seat belts. So that is the cost that the automotive OEMs have to bear due to quality related issues. Automotive industry is currently going through a revolution. And EVs are now the trend, and the government policies and the software defined cars and the revolution that is taking place. But that means the manufacturing, quality inspection, and the processes need to be optimized, need to be fixed for the revolution that is about to come and has already come in the developed world. So what currently happens is that everything is manual, especially in the developing world, and also in the majority of the developed world. Manual quality inspection of car parts is costly, error prone, time consuming, and it causes cognitive load on the worker that is doing the inspection. Secondly, reaching the root cause, that why the quality issues are happening in the first place, is a big problem. Around 10 to 20% of revenue is lost due to quality related issues. Our inspection AI product uses cameras and AI technology to automate the manual quality inspection process. According to McKinsey, AI-powered inspection increases productivity by up to 50% and defect detection by up to 90% as compared to manual inspection. So that is the scale that how AI can revolutionize this industry. So our solution is scalable across different kind of problems. Either they are parts or cars, but currently we are more focused towards parts because that is more beneficial for us as a startup and after analysis and doing pilots. So we want to be a success story in AI and automotive space in Pakistan and from Pakistan, and we are confident in that. We want to bring the most cutting edge AI technology to the automotive and enterprise manufacturing in Pakistan. And we want to export made in Pakistan AI products to the global enterprise giants in the world. We recently won an HEC and World Bank grant. We recently went to media as well, and we were selected as top 2 startups from Pakistan in the Startup Germany program. The first trial we did was with Procon Engineering Master Group, which is one of the biggest groups in Pakistan as a bootstrap startup. And our inspection time was 5x faster than a normal human. And it was above human after we analyzed our solution. Then we went into production with House of Habib Group, which is one of the biggest groups in Pakistan. Please note that House of Habib is those group that owns Toyota Indus as well. And our system is currently in production for every Toyota Yaris part, specific part that is manufactured in Pakistan. And now it is still in production for every Toyota Yaris. So that shows that as a bootstrap startup as well, we can target those giants. Then of course, where can we reach? So currently we are working on another Toyota Cross part. Toyota Cross is a new luxury vehicle that is being launched in Pakistan. So we will be deploying our solution for one of the Toyota Cross part in Pakistan. So that shows the repeat client that they're interested. They want to embrace this change, and it is beneficial for them because it is 40x faster and more accurate than a human. We also did a pilot with one of the SUV brands in Pakistan. In cars, it is more challenging, but still we were able to get good initial results, and we, inshallah, we will proceed with the second stage of pilot with those companies as soon as things get better. So what is the business value? quality issues can cause drop in credibility for OEMs. And one car in Pakistan, let's say Toyota Cross, would cost around 14 million rupees. So even one sale lost is a huge revenue loss for these companies. And for Toyota, they manufacture one car every 4 minutes, and few seconds downtime, 1 minute downtime is around $8K lost. Third point is that Six Sigma. Companies don't understand that what type of quality issues are there in their factories. So using this automated inspection and then the dashboards help to understand the defects, that what is happening in their factories, because a huge amount of money is involved in the manufacturing of especially luxury goods. The use cases are diverse. Either it is luxury seats inspection, either it is crack inspection of brake discs, radiator HVAC inspection, part assembly verification, like every component is there or not, or final assembly verification. Everything, our solution covers everything because it is a scalable product. It is built to scale. Not only that, it is scalable across verticals in the aerospace sector as well. But currently we are more focused towards the automotive. This is the future line that we believe that we will, inshallah, scale to other verticals as well. As a bootstrap startup, we were able to do a pilot with one of the biggest groups in Pakistan, Master Changan Group. Then we did a first deployment with House of Habib. We started a pilot with one of the top 6 luxury SUVs in the world, their branch in Pakistan. And we are doing a second deployment, official deployment, production deployment for House of Habib for Toyota Cross parts. So that shows as a bootstrap startup, we were able to go far. But now, so a lot of success stories are built after a recession. Although there are challenges in the Pakistani market, but we believe this is the best time because the giants are now willing to sit and talk with startups to explore that how they can fix their core issues. So currently, we got a grant, we have started talks with Toyota Indus Motor, and we have already done 3 meetings, and 4th we have done at the plant, and we are very hopeful that we will be, inshallah, be able to secure a pilot. But these are currently in talks. The Atlas Honda bikes, they manufacture bike at a very high scale. We are also in talks with them, and also one of the luxury SUV brands in Saudi Arabia. We are hopeful that we would be one of the first startups in Pakistan that would work with that brand. And we will, inshallah, scale to Saudi Arabian market, Riyadh, as we know, the Vision 2030 of Saudi Arabia. So Toyota does 275 billion revenue in Pakistan in 2022. And we believe our solution can increase their efficiency by 1.31% next year, even in this current environment. So that is the value that we offer. This is the very realistic estimate that we have done. Atlas Honda bikes, they manufacture one bike every 25 seconds in Pakistan. And their revenue is around 135 billion rupees. We also have a meeting with them, and inshallah, we'll secure a trial with them as well. These are in talks. So our pricing is SaaS per part inspection or quarterly licensing, but brands are more interested towards licensing and that type of payment structure. Our MENA Pakistan market is around $3.5 billion. And our SAM is around $1.435 billion. And our SOM is around $10 million. And our next market will be Saudi Arabia because we are bullish for that market. So competitors, VisionRD provide a lot of flexibility because it is a white box solution. The customers can fine tune their AI and improve for as soon as more kind of parts, more kind of defects arise. So that we found out that this type of solution that we have iterated after multiple pitching to a lot of brands, we have become specialized in automotive, unlike a lot of competitors. They cannot sell their solution as it is because the automotive brands and every brand, they want the support, they want the hardware as well along with the software. So we provide the full solution. So we are raising around $120K. We have already secured $35K from grants, and we will be opening our round on 31st July after we, of course, we have trials that we have signed. and of course, those trials would be big. So we want the funding to scale in Pakistan and also to enter the Saudi market. We have also been initially shortlisted in Beta Labs Riyadh startup program, which is basically in collaboration with Epiphany. And we hope we'll be able to scale faster to Saudi Arabia. So our plans are, we want to be a global success story from Pakistan and not just in Pakistan. And also we have next 5 years plan. We have got a lot of good insights from this market, especially talking to big OEMs. So we have a lot of plans to scale to the enterprise AI automotive software domain as well. So our basic cost would mostly go towards the trials and the HR cost. And trials, of course, Saudi market, so the trials are more costly. So regarding the team, full-time, there are 4 AI engineers and 3 business development people with an average age of less than 25. And my background is AI as well. I work with a German startup. Basically, it was a German group startup, and where we helped build a replica of the world so autonomous vehicles can test their, the top brands can test their vehicles in a simulation environment. And I am a little bit idealist, and I believe that, of course, our team is mostly young, and they have more expertise towards the AI and new innovations. So we believe that we have the right team and right mindset to go global. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, so I'm seeing some
Then I
questions.
think you muted.
Okay.
Sorry, I was mute. Sorry about that. Yes, we'll move to the question answer session. So the first question is, how much has the team bootstrapped so far?
Okay, so we have bootstrapped around around 4 million rupees.
1 million rupees so far since the beginning of the startup, right?
Yes, since the beginning of the startup.
Okay. Okay. So what is the difference between your company and what retrocasual.ai, a company founded by a Pakistani in the Silicon Valley and doing the same? Further, Zishan Zia, CEO and founder, has good presence in Karachi and is already working within the automotive industry in the US and got serious funding. So what kind of SCA, that is strategic competitive advantage, you could offer given we have Retro Casual, a Pakistani-led very similar company with a similar product. So what's the
Okay. So,
secret sauce? I think that's what they're
okay.
asking.
So retrocausal AI is basically a startup that is working on activity recognition of workers that are basically working on the line. It monitors the workers. It doesn't monitors the quality issues and the vehicles and the parts and everything. So it is basically an analytics platform to analyze the human workers. So that is a different problem they are trying to solve. They are trying to speed up. They are trying to build a database of humans that are more optimally working. So the rest of the workers can replicate and move faster. So they are targeting a different problem. We are more focused toward the quality inspection. Our cameras inspect the parts and make sense of that data. So the problems are different.
Okay. Okay. So leading to what you just said, we have another question. It says, what kind of defects are being detected? Missing parts or welding? So can you please explain about the defects and what can it cover?
Okay, so we have built our system to scale. So depending upon different brands and different type of parts, it detects different defects, but all defects are visual defects at a certain zoom level if they are visible. So for example, for parts, it can be missing weld, missing nut, the tags, FR or RR, there are a lot of important tags they are missing. For some parts, their pins are bent. Sometimes there are certain fuses that are basically added into the fuse box, let's say, they're missing. And so these kind of defects. In short, every defect that a visual inspector does in a factory, they are covered by our system.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, another question. Do you have any similarities with Altana.ai?
Actually, I don't know about this startup, Atlana.
So it's ALTANA.ai. Have you heard the name before?
Yes, no, haven't heard it.
Okay, so I would suggest you look up to it. Okay, so how are you sourcing data set?
Okay.
That's the next
So-
next question.
Okay. So what we do for different brands is that, firstly, we visit their factory and then we identify quality issues and what is their pain point that they want to deploy the technology first. So for example, let's say some brands say that, look, this type of part, we have a huge concern. There are a lot of quality issues. So we we deploy cameras and our system there as it is. In, let's say, a month or so, we deploy that system there. And then we have a certain 2 to 3 weeks data collection time. In that time, all the data is sourced in our system, and we call that a trial time, kind of like AI training time. And after 2 to 3 weeks, the systems, they basically are trained on their data set, and then the system is deployed. So that is basically the process we follow. So is it happening on the edge or cloud? So it is basically edge. It is not happening on the cloud. We had support for cloud first, but after we visited factories, a lot of times we identified that the inference time needs to be faster. So they cannot, basically, they are mostly in remote locations. Internet can sometimes lag. So they want a local kind of solution. So we move towards the edge side. And of course, we have the analytics that can be seen on tablet, smartphone as well. But the inspection, the AI is done on the edge.
Okay. So what are the terms of the raise?
What are terms of raise? By terms, you mean?
For the fundraising. That's what I'm assuming.
Okay. Can you elaborate this question?
Can anybody elaborate the question that someone has posted, or a follow-up question? What are the terms of the raise? What I think you didn't. I think you missed that one. Is it in the slideshow, or can anybody follow up? Have a follow-up on this question?
I think it just says the fundraise, like how much equity and stuff are you willing to give for that?
Yeah.
Okay. So of course, we'll be starting the raise within last day of this month. So of course, those that are interested, they can reach out to us. And as soon as we have signed the trials with some of the companies that we are looking for, we'll share all the relevant data with the person. Okay.
Does anyone want to have a follow-up question on this one?
Okay.
No? Okay. Yeah, somebody asked that what's your revenue so far? How much you're generating, and what's the burn rate?
What's the burn rate? Okay. So basically, before moving to that question, I would like to answer this, identify parts and why we are not going to tier ones and this question, and then I'll move towards that question. So basically, the question is that if the solution is to identify part defects, why need to work with assemblers like Toyota, rather go to tier one supplier to enhance their output quality? So by tier one, they mean those OEMs, or does that mean, okay, so that means the suppliers. Okay, so for this question, the reason is that the OEMs, they have control over the suppliers. If we are able to pitch to those directly to the OEMs, then they can make our solution compulsory for the suppliers as well. So our mind is that we want to target the OEMs as well, so they can have our solution and they can inspect real time inside the factory. but we also want to target the tier 1 suppliers as well. So our target market is both the OEMs and the car part manufacturers. And regarding the revenues and everything, we are currently at, we are pre-revenue right now, but this year our main focus is to get revenues. So that is why we are targeting those big giants like Indus, like Atlas Honda, like Lucid in Saudi Arabia, because currently this is the time to make money. And previously what we did a lot of experiments and a lot of hard experiments, like pitching to the top Chinese OEMs, doing different pilots, doing a lot of experiments. So we were basically reaching towards that product market fit. Now we have analyzed our trajectory, and now is the time to tune up the revenues and focus on the revenue part instead of a lot of experiments, because we have done those experiments.
Okay. Okay, so there's another question over here. There is a lot of scope and interest in the know your supplier industry. So what is your vision for the upcoming 5 years?
Upcoming 5 years for the supplier industry?
Yeah, so know your supplier industry. That's the question.
Know your supplier industry. If someone can elaborate that question.
Can I elaborate, or you would like to ask this question?
Okay, let's move to the next question.
Okay, sure. Okay. What's your primary competitive advantage?
Primary competitive advantage. So
Yeah, that's the last question.
Okay, so the competitive advantage that we have in terms of we are more focused towards the automotive domain. So we have developed an expertise towards a certain vertical. Instead of a lot of competitors, they have a very generic solution. So automotive brands don't like generic solutions. They want solutions that are very, very laser focused towards their problems, their needs, and it is kind of a different industry.
Okay.
So initially we have built something that is focused towards this industry. So we have advantage there, and also our solution is white box. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, Mahad. Thank you for your time. I think we are so we have the next startup, BILTY, with us. Farhan, can you share your screen? And Mahad, you would have to stop sharing your screen. Okay. Farhan, you need to unmute and need to share your screen. Yep, loud and clear.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time, guys. I'm just going to share my screen. So a big thing about today's pitch is that I didn't do in other pitches that I've done before is I wanted to touch on the story behind BILTY, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, is the founder and the story behind every product and every beautiful startup that we see out there. So today we're going to talk about BILTY and how it started, but most importantly, about me, who's Farhan Salik. So basically, I was born in 1998 in Chitral, born to two lovely parents. When I was 10, I joined Cadet College Hassamdal. You can see me over there, Gol Matol. So yeah, I joined Cadet College Hassamdal, which is one of the hardest institutions to get into in this country, one of the best boarding schools. Definitely shaped me up to do great things in life and provided me with the people and the necessary community to do so. But that wasn't everything. I left Cadet College Hassamdal as a top achiever. I still have my name on the honor board there for a distinction in my O-levels and A-levels. And well, after my O-levels and A-levels, for a very brief period, I was involved in doing science competitions. And I was actually selected by the Ministry of Science to represent Pakistan at the Asian Science Competition in Thailand. So I was actually one of the only 5 kids chosen from all across Pakistan. I was the youngest amongst them, and they fortunately made me the team lead as well at the age of 17. So went to Thailand, had an amazing experience, and realized that I was not meant out to be as an engineer. Fate would allow me to become an entrepreneur, and much of the feedback that I received from the people over there, my mentors, they wanted me to pursue entrepreneurship, and not just entrepreneurship. They wanted me to pursue entrepreneurship specifically from a school called Babson. So I ended up going to Babson, Babson College, #1 entrepreneurship school in the world, studied from HEC as well. Had a very good time at Babson, got the global scholarship, was a full ride to Babson. And at Babson, I did a bunch of things. One of them was becoming the president of the fraternity, which is Phi Gamma Nu entrepreneurship fraternity at Babson. After Babson, I went into VC for a brief period, actually. I worked in VC for a year and a half. For a company called the Venture City based out of Miami, helped invest in 30 plus startups, which are doing amazing all across Europe. And that gave me a really good insight on how investors think when they, invest in startups. So I decided to launch my own startup. After COVID, we realized there was a huge gap in logistics in Pakistan and all across the world. And that gap was being exploited by different people for different reasons. And we wanted to explore that further. And hence BILTY started. And a little side thing that I do is we have a couple of schools that we run up in the north for kids, underprivileged kids who can't afford education. So that's something I do. But yes, let's talk about, what happened. December 2016, I had to move something, basically from Chitral to Islamabad. Now, if anyone knows the journey, that's one of the most dangerous roads of Pakistan. This is the Lawari Pass. 3,000 meters, one of the most dangerous roads covered by BBC, etc., etc. Very hard to cross. Well, I had to move something in a truck that looked just like this. And you would imagine how much would the fare be? Well, it was 50,000 rupees. It was roughly $170. Didn't feel like much paying for it, given how hard the journey was. So I went to a truck driver, did the deal with him, paid him the money, came back. And the next day I was supposed to load my vehicle. When loading the vehicle, I realized I didn't really speak the Adda language, or so the transporter language. So I had someone guide me through it. And upon inquiring and finding out that I paid 50,000 rupees from him, he immediately started brokering with him and ended up with a 12,000 rupee PKR price, which was crazy. I didn't know whether I had been given a 75% discount or I was being charged 400% extra. So that's something that made me kind of question the market. And what happened is not really fun. I gave my car to him at 12,000 PKR. He didn't attend my calls for the next 3 days. On the 5th day, I registered a police case. Following up with him, it took around 11 days. After 11 days, when we finally nailed him, I had no option but to either press charges or actually ask him what's up. And I asked him what's up. And when I did, I found out that the average driver's monthly income in Pakistan is roughly 60 to 80 bucks. I'm sure some of you, ever since this call started, made more money than that just by listening to me. And that's an amount that these guys get paid for driving 16 plus hours daily on some of the most dangerous routes in outdated vehicles. And that was a very big issue in the market. And what happened in the years to come is we exploited and understood that issue more and more. We also realized that driver ownership was actually minimal. You had no drivers that actually owned their own cars. Usually it was owned by different owners. And these people did not share those profits with these drivers. I went back to the US and I had this professor who kept telling me that the best problems to solve are those that you are a victim of yourself. It kind of stuck with me. And from that, BILTY was born.
Okay. Farhan, I would have to interject over here. Can you please come to the problem and solution part and, the competitive advantage so that we could quickly move forward, because we're running against the time, please.
Okay, so at BILTY, we're basically digitizing, democratizing, disrupting the Pakistani freight and construction industries. The current market is crazy. It's risky, it's fragmented, it's fraudulent, it's extremely time-consuming, non-transparent, and alien to first-time users. On average, the commission rate is somewhere between 15 to 17%, which is ridiculous, given that BILTY could do all of it for 2%, making it more quicker, reliable, insured, cheaper, hassle-free, and transparent. We're still working hard on the insurance part, but we don't have any good partners to work on. But ideally, what BILTY does is BILTY offers different technology solutions. We have BILTY Adda, BILTY Ustad, BILTY Freight Brokerage, and also BILTY Partner Portal. All of these are web and mobile applications, so you can simultaneously use them based on your preference. What exactly do these products do? Well, they offer you a variety of product types and vehicle types. We have GPS-based and device-based tracking. We have a bidding platform for different brokers where it's very transparent. You can bid real time. We have online payment options, which nobody does in the market. We have electronic proof of delivery, which actually helps a lot of people when faced with delivery issues. We also have insurance options. Like I said, we're still working to make them more comprehensive, but for now we do offer them. And lastly, we offer a fleet management system to all these transporters who are currently fragmented. 78% of Pakistani transport is actually one driver or two. So these people don't really have any tools to manage their fleets. And this is our flagship product, the BILTY main application. What does BILTY's main application do? Well, BILTY connects you with 35 different types of vehicles anytime around your location. We have more than 3,000 drivers on board as of now. We don't limit it ourselves just to providing you vehicles. We can actually provide you more than that. So we can provide you with construction material at your doorstep. We can bring you water if you need it at your home, and we can even move your homes. So all of these things, different things, make BILTY much easier, simpler, easier, efficient, and in a way cost efficient. We did a survey recently, and the results we got were phenomenal. We're much faster. We give way more variety, and there are certain features that we offer that nobody in the market currently does. Well, why would someone choose BILTY? I keep saying these buzzwords again and again, but in the industries we work in, where the margins are very thin, this is huge, that we can do it cheaper, faster, more convenient. And especially this works with construction companies, and construction is a huge market in Pakistan as well. So we find those synergies to be extremely amazing for us. The market of Pakistani logistics is huge. It's actually one of the very few markets that you can actually bet in today. For the last 18 years straight, it's been a net positive growth rate, despite dollar devaluations, etc. You will see that the $40 billion is actually not the right amount, because most of it is unregulated and unregistered. So you will see more business happening than we can actually record. BILTY believes that since 98% of all freight is moved via road networks, and we don't intend on working on other networks as of now, and with the advent of CPEC, we believe that that market's supposed to be growing as well, and we could eventually, capture a huge share of it. I'm going to take you all the way back to when we started. We started in August 2021. That's when BILTY actually was registered, and we started doing orders. As you can see, in the first 9 months, we did amazing. We went from 53 orders all the way to 3,000 plus orders, which is an amazing feat for us as a team. We had a lot of organic traction. We did not invest anything into marketing the product. We spent, I think, less than $100 on marketing as of yet, and it's been 2 years in the market. Our drivers were doing pretty good in terms of traction, but at some point we had to limit it ourselves because we had to keep updating the driver portal due to the learning curve being too much for them. And that's an issue that a lot of people in this market face, is the learning curve of most people adapting to technology. In terms of tons transported in the first 9 months, we did almost 250,000 tons, which was amazing for a new company like ours. And this is where it gets interesting. So usually when we initially started, we thought that the typical BILTY, which is you hiring one car to move from point A to point B, would be our main seller. It ended up not being our main seller. The main seller was the construction industry, which actually needed a value-added service such as pickup of construction material and then drop off at site, which was slightly more complicated, but that's where they were willing to pay extra amount of money to ease their convenience. Whereas the regular BILTY market still held strong and were very resistant to change and very resistant to obviously technology. So in April 2022, a lot of crazy things happened. We saw petrol and diesel prices skyrocket. We saw changing government. We saw a lot of different things which immediately shut down these markets temporarily. Not temporarily, the effect was very long-term for most. Some companies went out of business. A lot of logistics owners could no longer continue to operate at such higher costs because they had long-term contracts which were agreed previously. So we saw a lot of our customers not being able to finance business. Now that's a very interesting part. Pakistan is one of the only countries that doesn't have a debt factoring system in the logistics space, which is very important because most of these transporters, once they wait 90 days to clear their bills, they don't have money to keep financing their business running and running. So that was something that really impacted us. What we eventually did was we didn't want to expand beyond the limit we had reached because it was already a huge burden of our HR to keep sustaining that business. And immediately what we did was we stopped expanding and in fact just focused on retaining business. We had to cut a lot of business, let a lot of people go to better plan ahead given the investment environment. And as you can see, we dropped business almost half, but then picked it up all the way in the next 8-9 months to more than what we initially had. During this time, we focused on B2B customers, which is something we never did previously. We started focusing more and more on them. BILTY started giving out its technology to other companies that might need it as a SaaS product. And this is being used by the Pakistan Air Force, the Federal Board of Revenue, Coca-Cola, and Fessa Movers, which are some of the top names in the country. We had to pivot. We started focusing on key industries and key cities rather than having a network expanding almost 280 cities. BILTY is actually delivered to all these 280 cities over the last 2 years, which is phenomenal. And lastly, we started focusing on financing. Now, that's something we're looking at long-term as well and pursuing, is the ability to finance business prior so that these people are able to continue doing business rather than running out of it midway and waiting for balances. BILTY has done more than 30,000 orders. Our revenue has been amazing. We charge a flat 2%. This is actually quite a low estimate of our revenue. We usually give out all the money that we earn on discounts and bonuses to the driver, which is amazing, because we do believe that we can empower these drivers in the long run and do really well. And combined with the last months together, we have crossed 500,000 tons of goods transported. So that's been something tremendous for us. Our customers are from all over the place. We have people who are, army officials who are away from home and need to transport their home from one point to another. We have household women who want to order, water for their household if they run out of it. And we also have different people who found BILTY to be cheaper than official distributors in their own cities. And they order cement all the way from us rather than taking it from the actual retail price, which is much higher. And BILTY doesn't charge these people any sort of commission on the goods that we sell. We sell it exactly at X factory price. And that's also an avenue we could obviously make money off of, but we choose not to in the short term. The team is phenomenal behind BILTY. Phenomenal because of the 6 people with me. We have Omer and Ramiz, who joined BILTY 2 years ago. They basically were the first people to invest in BILTY and the first people to believe in our mission. And they're one of the reasons that I moved back to Pakistan to pursue BILTY full time. We have Sajid, who's had a lot of experience in the sales world. And lastly, Basharat and Zubair. These are the people who have been with me as an 18-year-old who started his company with almost no money to start working on a product, have been with me for the past 5-6 years and have been building this tremendous product, gone through many variations, have a lot of experience, combined experience of more than like 21 years. So there's that. And then lastly, Farooq, who's been doing a tremendous job on ground. Altogether, as of now, we have 13 full-time members. At one point, that was more than 30. We have 4 physical locations. We have an extremely low customer acquisition cost, and we're completely fleetless. Ever since BILTY started, we spent close to 101,000 USD in total. Some of our top shippers and carriers, as you can see, these are top organizations that we work directly or indirectly through third-party brokerage. Our top carriers list includes many other carriers as well that we haven't included here, such as NLC, CL Logistics, etc., who do really good business all across Pakistan. And we also have these amazing value adds to our company, such as the BILTY Fund, which helps different drivers, supports them, their education, their lodging, etc., to kind of develop the ecosystem, which has not really been invested in. People haven't really invested into the social capital. A lot of people have just been making money, and it's a cash cow business in Pakistan. Our competition is amazing. Most of them raised money before we even came to market, despite us having this idea a long time ago. But here's the thing about our competition and us. We work with different ideologies. We focus on product-led growth. They focus on business-led growth, which has proven to be really good for us given the current economic cycle where truly it's a product versus product game. So we do feel ourselves to be always far ahead in terms of technology, far ahead in terms of SOPs and operational excellences. Whereas we're definitely far behind in funding because most of these companies have raised more than $15 million on average. So ideally, we would say we are the small guy at the table, but we have been far ahead of them in many things because we've been working on this idea for the last 6-7 years now. Ideally, what we're different, where we're different from them is the regions, the fact that we have a brokerage market. We also do construction, which is something they're not focusing on at all. We have a B2C approach, which has been working really well for us. We also work on the less than truckload market, something that nobody ventures into because of the complexities, but we believe we have the technology to do so. And lastly,
Farhan, I think the time is up.
Data built in-house. Yes, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I think I just, oh yeah, sure, thank you. We'll just start off with the question and answer session. First question, kindly share your LinkedIn profiles of founders. Farhan, you can share your Instagram as well.
Sure, sure.
Okay, both of you can please share your LinkedIn profiles over here. Okay, let's get to the punchline. These are services within Pakistan. Are you working with B2C only, B2B as well? So both, right?
Yes, we work on both. We've initially
Mhm.
wanted to see the B2C market, but given the current economic condition, B2B businesses are much more reliable and keep operating compared to B2C business. So that's been our main
Mhm.
focus as of now.
Okay, so I have a question as well. So yeah, you said you have a 15-minute delivery time. Would it be
Yes.
the same if you scale? If you start scaling, can you maintain the 15-minute delivery time?
No, so we have a 15-minute delivery time for water tankers all across Islamabad. And we have to
Mhm.
work very hard in maintaining that network of more than 250, 300,
Mhm.
water tankers. For larger vehicles, it's much more, given that they're based outside the city, they have to come and reach you. And usually people
Mhm.
don't want it within the next 15 minutes either. So our typical average request is either for the next day, next week, or at most today at like 9 p.m. Because before 9 p.m., most cars are not even able to enter the city. So you'll usually find that getting there on time is never the issue. It's getting to from point A to point B that's the real issue.
Okay, so drivers don't want to use app on their phones. They don't want folks tracking them, at least in the US. Okay, I don't know about Pakistan. So what's it like in Pakistan? How are you thinking about adoption compliance?
So it's worse. Nobody wants to use apps in Pakistan at all.
Mhm.
Not so just because of the fact that they don't want to. Some of them just don't know how to. They've never used a smartphone to begin with. Secondly, the
Mhm.
smartphone technology in the long term doesn't really work really well for rides that last up to 72 hours. Like a typical Karachi to Islamabad ride would last up to 72 hours. So if other technology solutions such as device-based tracking and things that we install in their dashboards so that we can continue to keep getting the data. The platform's only
Mhm.
there for brokerage, and these are mostly used by brokers and drivers, and they only use it to get the business. And the tracking, we don't rely
Mhm.
on mobile phones, we rely on device-based tracking, and we pay extra for the people who do that.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, how much is the revenue? I think you covered that one, right? So what's the burn rate? That's my question. I would like to ask this question.
So as of this moment, the company makes
Mhm.
enough to pay all of its employees, but we have a very slight margin. Like the
Mhm.
company on average, payroll, everything included, it costs us
How
around
much is that?
6.
Like, what's the burn rate? Not like I know you can pay your
Yeah, yeah.
employees, but what's the burn rate in terms of
So around like, yeah,
PKR,
so
dollar,
we have
whatever?
around like $5,000 on average that we have to spend to keep the current business running. And that's not
Mhm.
including salary, like I don't
Including
take salary. So yeah, so $5,000 on average, and the company makes more than that.
per month, right? Fran, is this per
Yes,
month?
yes.
Okay, now how much revenue per month?
Per month, you're just looking at somewhere between 2.2 million, so like $7,000 to $8,000.
$7,000 to $8,000 a month, right?
Yes.
Revenue. Okay. Okay. Is there any talk to help define logistic rules and regulations like our services for drivers and dash cams?
So that's a beautiful question because this market is highly unregulated. We have seen very less movement from the government to actually do it. But yes, we
Mhm.
are thinking of making it a compliance issue and more of a, if you're with us, you have to do these things in the future for our truck drivers. And we are very keen on making sure that they have these dash cam technologies and other things. In terms of
Okay.
hours, we don't give anyone more than 8 hours of work. And that's something that we, agree with them. So we don't give anyone more than 8 hours of work, but definitely there's discrepancies and there's definitely, like I said in the start, 16 plus hours was the average I noted when I did my research.
Okay. Okay. AOV is $4 based on 30K orders and 115K in revenue. Why is it too low?
So you have to understand that these orders we have orders that range from all sort of prices. We have $2,000 orders that are coming all the way from Karachi to Islamabad, but then you have a
Mhm.
$5 order for water. So in most such scenarios, you will see that your commission is, there's a stark difference in terms of commission. based on like a $5 order, it would be pretty wrong of us to charge them an excessive commission rate. Whereas on the $2,000 order, we could definitely obviously maximize our commission. And also, we don't operate on the 2% commission anymore. This is something that we wanted to talk about to our investors in private about our future financial model and the way we're planning on going ahead. But the average commission for BILTY now is increasing upwards to 9 to 10%. That's what we've felt over the last 5 to 6 months in the key industries that we work in. So yes, that's how we intend on making money in the future. Yes,
Okay.
it is a digital brokerage. BILTY is a digital brokerage. But obviously we have other products that help maintain the ecosystem. No brokerage will work unless the whole ecosystem is on point and working on the same platforms. Otherwise, we won't be able to collect data or connect people.
Okay, sounds good. Any more questions, guys? So that if you have, please do let me know, or you can DM Ali Fahad. Otherwise, we'll wrap this session. Any more questions, please? I'm afraid that's pretty much it. So I
Perfect.
think we will conclude the session. Ali Bhai, would you like to say anything? The concluding remarks or any feedback for the startups?
No, I think this is great. Thank you so much. Thanks, folks.
Okay. Thank you, Park Launch. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.